Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
Okay, welcome back to a new episode of the Day After podcast. I'm not chaotic.
God, God, I hated
That was
that.
a
No.
little out of this for what happened in the show.
I was also very confused when it started happening from Jeff. So,
Yeah. But welcome. Here I am, Ryan Neil Wayne with Joe King, and yes, we are talking about episode 5 of Survivor 50. We got our first double, and apparently our first double in the pre-merge, which was a little surprising.
mhm.
But we're going to talk all about that later. But yes, and we also got, I think Jeff is really trying to like showcase himself. He's trying to get clips for his reel.
Yeah,
And so like he's like, all right, if I can do impressions, I can do rap and stuff like that. In case something happens to Survivor, I'm good afterwards. I got some new footage of me doing stuff.
yeah, I know. We should be kind of concerned about season 51 on onwards because Jeff's already maybe wanting to get his foot in somewhere else.
Yes, yes. But yeah. So this episode was very interesting in the sense of like I feel like it was pretty straightforward who was probably going home,
Yeah,
except like it was either going to be Rizzo or if it was going to be Charlie.
yeah.
That was the main thing. That was like the big payoff that we were wondering going into this challenge.
Yeah, I still kind of just assumed it was gonna be Charlie because Charlie's whole story was just like, oh, he voted out as number one, and it's like, he's my mortal enemy, and Rizzo just keeps getting one over on me every time with the talent show and all that kind of stuff. So I was just kind of like, it felt like it was more in the Rizzo's going to beat him than
Yeah.
Charlie's going to get his revenge against him.
Yeah. I will say I just did not like Charlie's edit because like one of the best things about Charlie was like he did have a lot of fun on his OG season. And you even
Mhm.
see it in his cast photo. You see him smiling the first time. The next one, it's like all serious and stuff. It was so I kind of figured we were in for a different type of Charlie. But yeah, his edit made him very one-dimensional. It was like, oh yeah. I think the only bit of humor we ever got was the toe ring with
Yeah.
Coach.
Yeah, exactly. I
And that was
mean,
about it.
and Angelina, I mean, they didn't really use Angelina in the season.
No.
She just kind of existed and then got eliminated and then did a jacket callback. Like that was
Yeah.
basically her entire presence of the season. So it happens when you come back for a second time, and you go out super early, you're just not going to get the screen time or the edit that you might be used to seeing based off of your first time.
Especially since this is a very this season, obviously with it being the biggest it's ever been. Some people, like just get a little screwed over on. We've had more people get zero vote confession or zero confessional episodes going into the merge than I think ever in Survivor history. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Um I know we'll get into that later, but like it's kind of like surprising like how many people, like I know there's a lot more ground to cover, stuff like that, but it's been the editing has been a little like I mean like they got
Mm-hmm.
to make the narrative and stuff make sense. So
Yeah.
that's what I think kind of like saves it is because it's like, well, there's a purpose behind it. However, Tiffany, it's been 5 episodes and
Yeah.
she still has less confessionals than Zach Brown. We at least know
Yeah.
she's getting one, at least one next episode.
Yeah. But that might be
So
the only one.
it is criminally low. But
Yeah, I,
yeah,
I think I
so
think that's the least edited person in New Era now is Tiffany because I don't think we've had any New Era people go into the merge or episode 6 with two confessionals or less.
now granted, they're also doing this. Yes. Also, because we're going to talk about it. But the fact that we're going into a merge with the most people ever,
Yeah.
and it's not even an earn the merge or something like that. They're straight up like, drop your buffs. This is the merge. We see them get their new buffs and everything. So it's crazy to think like she only has two confessionals going to the merge. Now, granted, the number is way higher than it's ever
Mhm.
been, four
Yeah.
more than at 13. So I don't want to look at statistics, but she may have the least amount of confessionals of any player going into the merge.
Yeah. It is it does feel like that. I mean, I saw a meme the other day where someone was like, I went back to the Zach Brown episode and saw that there was a producer watching the show and then they circled Tiffany because they didn't realize that she was on the show.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the bit of context or content we have gotten from her in recent episodes, like in this one, we see her and Aubrey like in the water and stuff. They're finding a conch and everything. And then
Mhm.
Aubrey has one confessional is like, yeah, I trust Tiffany the most in this game because she told me about Genevieve. And
Mhm.
that was essentially it.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, by the way, Genevieve got zero confessionals, so that's
She did.
another person who has entered the the zero confessional club. Uh, yeah. So that keeps building up. I wonder, maybe eventually everyone's going to be getting zero confessional, and then it's going to be like a reset.
It's something where it's hard to say because we won't know until the end. But it is interesting because she had a decent chunk of confessionals each episode
Yeah.
until now. And I get it, her team won and it was a double, so obviously they have to take it out of somewhere, and
Mhm.
they very much wanted to set up coach's position in the game. Um, where you saw he was like, yeah, I'm pretty much the center of this and everything. And he's
Yeah.
even like, you even see him, I was like, yeah, I'm playing a fantastic game. And then he's like, wait, Dragon Slayer? No. Uh no, not Dragon Slayer, Tide Walker.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but you know though, they really set up the coach and Colby and Joe and give them all the nicknames, all that kind of stuff. But also on that tribe that didn't go to tribal, they made sure to give Aubrey a confessional.
they did.
You know,
I know you have a big grin.
yeah, they said no to the other three girls on that tribe, but they said, Aubrey, we got to make sure that we squeeze you in, even though, easily probably could have not given her a confessional this episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also makes sense because she has the idol. I feel
Yeah.
like there's that, and then she tried to go up to coach and be like, hey, I really want to play this game. And then like coach is
Mhm.
like throwing her a bone and be like, all right, shoot. We'll go
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah.
Now granted, they never went to tribal or anything, and it was like 3 rounds, yes.
Mhm.
So it's like, and Jonathan even mentioned it later on in this episode where it's like, you don't go to tribal, you don't fully know where the chips lie, how people are and stuff.
Mhm.
Which is safety is awesome, but you do miss out on like, well, where do I really stand with this alliance? So, and I know that's really important for a lot of players as well. It's like, am I
Yeah.
actually good with the people here?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I do think you should want to go like one time just so that way you have some level of trust pre-merge because yeah, when the merge happens and everyone's just like going off and maybe, like they don't know if they can trust you and they're going to build relationships with other people. It can definitely come back to screw you if you haven't gone. Um But I mean, the only person on this tribe who has gone to tribe was Joe, and he was being rocked like a baby when he went last time. So, I don't even
Yeah.
know if he's like I think he would be totally down to go against Christian and Rick Devens and all of them. Like even though that they went to tribal council together and voted together.
Yeah. Um, well, especially because Coach was straight up like, "You are my number one in this game, hand
Yeah,
to God."
yeah,
Um, So it's one of those things where now we got like Joe's like perspective on it, basically about his nickname as well. Um, which what was it called again? It was like the Stone
Oh, it was no. Colby's was like the Oakbound Warrior or something like that.
Oakbound Warrior, and then
Um, I don't know. It was something that was like not as intuitive as some of the other nicknames that we've gotten.
he's trying to be a little more coach is trying to be a little creative, and then he gave
Yeah.
a similar speech twice of like, oh yeah, it's not like D&D or anything like that. It's something. It was like it's still a fancy nick. It's still a coach nickname. I guess
Mhm.
you're just mixing up your naming scheme.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this definitely sent me back to Philip Shepard and Caramoan of giving the nicknames to his alliance members and all the code names and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of a cool kind of like callback to some of what you'd see in older school Survivor a little bit,
yeah,
where like yeah, it's been a while since a big figurehead leader like a coach has gone on and just been like, "This is your nickname. I'm presenting it to you. I'm going to knight you."
yeah. It's yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why they brought back well, one, so many old school players to get some of that like charm.
Hmm.
And they can like sprinkle it in when they can. I know um that has been a complaint with like some like current Survivor fans, and I think they've
Uh-huh.
gotten better at like showing the personalities of like the contestants a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, I will say they also brought this up twice of like the core, like coaches buddies and like the three bromigos basically.
Yeah.
So we'll see because like we're going into a potential merge situation. Though I will say, I kind of this morning I was like pausing and stuff, and it's like, the one where you're like, have to be a ninja on the wall.
Hmm.
It does look like there's three different colors, so I think we are getting a triple, and it's going
Yeah.
to be separate tribal councils. Um, but like this is where chips kind of fall where they may when people start talking to each other and like being like information is being shared, stuff like that, and then it's going to be a mad scramble. Like
Yeah.
who knows how things are actually going to play out next episode.
Yeah, if you're getting separated into just random teams and then that's who's going to tribal council, literally anything could happen. And for the most part of the season has been pretty chaotically like edited and like put together also in certain ways. So it's like I can't even really tell you who. I mean, I think we're going to probably see Aubrey Genevieve, maybe like that could be something that they're setting up, but also I can see that happening at like come the jury phase at some point. So it's like
Yeah,
that's like what the one real storyline that has been like set up and constantly like talked about and mentioned. So either we're getting three fully new things in just that episode, or they're going to have to use that one because if you're doing three different tribal councils, you usually want to have some setup before you do because that's so much tribal council, so
yeah,
much talking and strategy going into it. um so like the Rizzo and Charlie one, they made sure to set that up before the double, so that way we already kind of knew about that storyline instead of having to like
yeah.
really rush it and kind of cram it in. So I
Which
would, yeah.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so I would not be surprised if we are going to get the kind of like the blow off of the Aubrey Genevieve in that kind of group, because it's just that's the storyline that's currently been set up in terms of two rivals going at it.
That makes sense. This one is it's definitely it's always tough to say because it's like where do the numbers lie? And yeah, if this is our first triple, like they got to get through a lot of like content fast because I
Mhm.
think next episode is still like, just an hour 30 and whatnot.
Yeah,
Supposing it is, well, I do want to. It's tough because we're on the subject, but it's like he did say, Jeff did, Survivor will never be the same after tonight, after this tribal council. And
Yeah.
so it makes me wonder what they have in store because they do have a historic number going into the merge. And they do
Mhm.
have, like, this is what, day 12? They got 13 days, including day 12, to get to the finale, to get it down to three people.
Yeah.
That's 14. The math is like people's got to go,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that is kind of like the like what they're gonna say to get you be like, oh, what's gonna happen? But then, yeah, I think the triple is kind of like what he's really referring to. The fact that we're gonna have three travel councils in one episode of TV.
Yeah.
So, um, I wonder how that's also going to work. Are they going to go separately, or are they like all going to go together but have different voting groups that go?
Well, the interesting thing is, and this idea came to me this episode, because when we get to the immunity challenge, Genevieve won.
Mhm.
My thoughts during the episode was, all right, how does the boomerang idol work if let's say Callow didn't win, and let's say
Uh,
they did lose. And let's say that Rizzo or Ozzy went home with their idol right on the tribal council before Genevieve had to go. Would it boomerang back to her before tribal council? Or what if Genevieve's team lost first? And then,
mhm.
like she doesn't have the idol then, but, and then she gets eliminated, but she could have potentially had an idol because Ozzy went home with the idol and it doesn't boomer. Like
Yeah,
I think order might matter. It did very much look like the Pink Tribe didn't. They were definitely third place in that challenge.
yeah,
So I think it made sense edit wise for them to go first. But like that is the thing with an idol like this. It's like turn order does matter.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It's also gonna suck if Genevieve goes out before like Rizzo or Ozzy get to play their idol or get voted out with it because she has like it'll almost kind of nullify the idea of boomerang idol. It'll feel like I think people are going to look at this as a bust if that happens because the whole fun of ooh sending it to other people now it's just like oh you just found idols gave it to other people and then you left the game and now it's and now you idols were just things that you got handed to you in the season. Like that's something that can easily just become something that is what
At,
like the fan perception is.
at least early on, we don't know what in the second half of the game they're going to do,
Yeah,
especially because when it comes to the boomerang idol, it very much functioned as a pre-merge one where it's like you send it
yeah,
off to another tribe and stuff. How that might work in the merge setting, because there was always that like mystery of like who on the other team is going to get it,
yeah.
because like it would be much easier to be like, oh, I found this boomerang idol on my beach, and like Christian did, and like instead of getting to Aubrey, who I've never played a season with, I don't know what her game plan is or her position is. I'm gonna give it to Rick Devens because he's my number one in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you never truly, like because it does change up how you would play it if it was all on one tribe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do feel like going in, there are potential circumstances where it's like, all right, who gave me the boomerang idol? Because, well, Rizzo has told three different people about it, or four different people,
Yeah,
uh, including Charlie. And that started to become a thing. It was like, all right, Rizzo started telling like D about it because like they were like, hey, you're a recent player. I'm a winner. We're both threats in our own rights. We got to stick together.
yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, Rizzo's pretty much using a strategy that he did in his previous season of like using the idol and like knowledge to like get allies together and have people want to work with him because of that knowledge. Um, so it is interesting how it's kind of like he's using kind of the same strategy, and it is yet again working in a similar fashion of just like he got something that he knows that he can use, and he's able to get people to kind of be like, okay, let's come on, let's work with this, let's work with me, and not having to just use the idol just to idol out Charlie. He's able to use knowledge to essentially get his allies together. And once again working with the strong women on his tribe.
Yeah. Um, which it's something where he's been very open about his gameplay, which I think was like smart of like, all right, instead of like lying or being cagey, just let people know what happened. So that
Mm-hmm.
way, like because also even though I think Savannah would work well together with Rizzo and stuff, the thing is people are gonna want answers and stuff.
Yeah.
Being honest is probably like the easiest thing. Though I will say there are a few things that kind of I do want to call some bullshit on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the whole Charlie and the Charlie Rizzo thing. The thing is, and it's kind of ironic, is Charlie is upset at Rizzo because in his words, you betrayed your ally first.
Mm-hmm.
When actually it was Sophie who put in, Rizzo and Savannah against each other at fire making.
Yeah.
Her, his number one did that to him and it got him eliminated. So it's like, it's not like he, like there was reason behind it and stuff. And I'm pretty sure, I'm like, I don't think Rizzo would just leave that out of there. Or I think maybe
I think he
Charlie just had,
I think he didn't figure to talk about it. I think it literally was just like he didn't want people to think that him and Savannah were so close on the season. And
that's
so
fair.
he was just gonna say that him and Sophie were the close ones, but he ended up still voting for Savannah because he respected the game. I think he assumes that people will enjoy someone who respects the game more so than the relationships. He just ended up being on a tribe with Charlie, who was pissed that that happened.
Yeah. Uh, and I think I forget what, but Camilla was also like, I don't know, you made it all the way to fire or something like that. Where I'm like, Camilla, you also are the fallen angel of your
Yeah.
season. Like,
Camilla's strategy was a little wonky, at least how it was portrayed in this episode, also because she also like kind of was like, he's not fast enough because he didn't talk to her first. But it's like, I don't think that should be a metric. Honestly, I think that you should be going based off of who you're vibing with more and who you feel like you can actually trust, not who talk to you quicker than the other, because that's I don't think that's the best way to play Survivor. Um,
I mean, because sometimes the order you hear things does matter.
mhm,
I will say I feel like it's case by case, and I don't know, like editing wise, how fast those conversations were. If
mhm.
like how like the time difference between the two, and if Camilla went off and talked to someone else in the meantime of it. Um, I do feel like because like obviously they're not expecting to go to tribal council, or they're not expecting a merge at 17. So
Mhm.
like they're thinking longevity in this tribe. And if it makes sense to have bigger threats like a Suri, like a Rizzo, and I feel like there are more threats that Camilla can align with going that route with that, with like D and everyone over there, as opposed to like Charlie, Jonathan, and Rick Devens, where it's just like Rick Devens, despite being known as chaotic player, has pretty much done, I think, what you brought up, like the Tony Vlachos thing, where he's like, yeah, maybe that was for Q, but like he's kind of
Mhm.
adopted as well, where he seems very much chill in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, like I think it does make sense from that state with the knowledge they have and their projection of the game to go with that side. But yeah, I would say how fast people come to you with information, it's case by case because sometimes that has been something where it's like, why am I finding out from this person and you're just telling me like a day later or something like that
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah, I mean, I think the only real reason in Camilla's mind is that she did not like how 48 played out of the very slow like alliance based gameplay where it was just kind of like march it down, that I think she wants to do the opposite of what her season was, and that is with playing with people who are going to be playing 100 miles an hour, who are going to be constantly working it and trying to go for it. So I think that was probably where Camilla's mind was at. Um, so if she was on a different season, I think she probably go to. I think she would have been more down to vote Rizzo, the unknown variable. But because her season specifically was that like slow gameplay that she did not like, it has now kind of given her like that motive to go ahead and side with Rizzo here.
I think that plays a factor into it. Speaking of 48, Rizzo does do the thing of like, oh, Kyle said that I should probably work with you. And then
Mm-hmm.
and Camilla kind of like catches wind, whether it's paranoia or whether it's
Mm-hmm.
just intuition of like, I don't think, they actually were that close or something like that, or
Yeah.
because they never went to tribal, you don't know. And that is one thing where I'm like, but Camilla, you haven't went to tribal this season yet either.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're good with your team. Like, it's like, hold up a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but also, I mean, he got medevac day 4, and it was like final words before he leaves. He just goes up to Rich and was like, "Get with Camilla." Like I don't think that that's gonna be. I wouldn't buy that personally if I was Camilla in that situation. Uh,
I mean, it is something nice, like on paper. Oh, you say this is someone that, oh,
mhm.
they did that. And then, Kyle's not in the game anymore. It's not like he's going to come back for a cameo and call bullshit on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, yeah, you can't call bullshit, but I mean, you can still have your bullshit detector,
Yes. And it
and
does.
be able to tell.
Yeah. And it did seem like Camilla was very wary of that. She suspected, but not 100%.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, she does have a bullshit detector, and it does seem to be working.
It worked, but
Um,
I guess that didn't bother her that he was willing to, bring that up to try to get in with her that way.
I think the thing is, there's when someone tells you something like that, it's like, yeah, that could be bullshit. However, you don't know 100%. The only way to know 100% is if A, someone confirms that knowledge, or B, and this also became something interesting that came up this episode,
Mhm.
when you watch the edit,
Mhm.
when the game is over and all the stuff is put together. And it is kind of interesting because, like, Rizzo, this obviously being his first tribal council this season, like they brought up the fact of like, hey, no one really knows who you are and stuff like that. And then, like Rick Devens gave some insight. It was like the thing is like the disadvantage it gives you, or one of the major disadvantages is you don't know how you came off to other people on your tribe and stuff. You don't get the
Yeah.
immediate notes afterwards because you were very much like, all right, this is what happened last season and it worked great for me. I'm going to do the same thing, but you don't know how close to disaster you were, or
Mhm.
things like that, or how good of a liar you are or not.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, most people who do watch the show think that they played this great game and they did all this awesome stuff. And Rizzo, is on the show being like, "Oh yeah, I held my idol," and he's like all kind of boasting joyfully about it. But a lot of times when the edit comes out, it is not the way that you assume that it was going to be perceived by the show. And they show all like everyone else also is doing crazy lies that are way more important to that story of that season. But the thing is, Rizzo Rizzo was like the MVP without a doubt of season 49. It is not like he just was this goofy character who got, lied and betrayed to, and when he tried, he got kind of fell flat on his face. He was the one that was out there, you know, getting people to turn on each other, using his idol to make sure that he had safety without having to actually use it. So it is kind of interesting where I think how Rizzo perceived the show going, is very close actually to what ended up being edited of that of season 49.
Yeah. Um, because Rizzo is like, I am who I am, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
hide that.
Yeah.
I will say there are some times where he's like, because it's something where you want to be honest and build trust, but at the same time, it's there were some times when he was talking, I'm like, I'm especially looking at Camilla because she was the like swing vote of this whole thing, and I'm like, is he gonna say something that might turn her off? Or it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, he was doing a lot that it seemed like, what is he going to just do one step too far?
Joe, I have an honest question.
uh,
Is this what it looks like when I play games? Or at least early Ryan Wayne?
I mean, it's pretty close. It is. I think if you had an idol, a Billie Eilish boomerang idol, and this is how you'd be using it of trying to play.
I mean, the only time in my career, well, I had kind of an idol. I had like a veto. So I had two different ones. The first one, I just used it because I was led to believe that was the last round I could.
Mhm.
Granted, there was a twist and two more players were introduced, so I could have used it one more round. So like I was just like, yeah. Um, no one knew about that. And then no one knew about my secret veto
Mhm.
that I had. And I just played that right then and there. Well, actually, no, I had three advantages. My bad. I also had a safety without power, and I did not tell a fucking person about that. No, I was like, I don't know if I can fully trust certain people here. I can only trust like really two people. One of them just got eliminated. It just like I was like,
Mhm.
no, I need to save this for the end game, just in case.
Yeah.
So I am someone where I very much keep shit hidden if I
Mhm.
have it.
Yeah. Well, we've seen with Rizzo though. He lets people know and he uses it.
Yeah, yeah, that is fair. But yes,
I think it's
and
also the fact that he's the youngest person on the cast. He has this youthful exuberance to him that comes off as non-threatening, even though he's boasting about being this great player, like even to people. It comes off as, oh, you silly Riz God.
he's a young, mid-20s or like I would say he's 25. So like
Yeah.
it's so crazy me saying this, but it's like he's mid-20s, so like he's still a baby.
Yeah. I mean,
But
he acts not like a 20. Like he does have that like 21, 22 kind of super younger Survivor player vibe to him. Like, and like I'm sorry, Rizzo. I mean, if you're watching this,
there's
I love you for this. It's great, but it is
this is
very
why Joe asked me to be a part of the show. He loves Rizzo, ergo he loves me. I think
exactly.
that's the closest you will probably get to Joe saying that he loves me on this
Oh,
ever in his life.
what 100%. But
Not even during not even during, when I invite him to a wedding and he's a groomsman and stuff, he'll be like, "No, fuck
uh,
you, you dumb idiot."
I'll just say good job.
Yes, put her there.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, obviously the comparisons between me and Rizzo were very apparent
Yeah.
just by his name, nickname alone, the Riz God.
Mhm.
But yeah. Also, we got to talk about one of the most like one of the dumbest moves by Charlie was
Yeah.
never wake someone up at 5 a.m. and talk strategy. But more
Yeah.
importantly, don't come at someone with accusational energy. It was
Yeah.
like, who else did you tell about the Billie Eilish? I'm like, you
Yeah.
were up all night thinking about this? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, if you go back to Survivor 46, Charlie had a confessional where he says the most important conversations in the game happened before everyone wakes up. So
typically you don't do that with the person that you're, like
yeah.
typically you wait for that person to get up because one, I know he said, oh, he slept good and everything. You'd be mad as hell. It was like, wait, what? Huh? Huh? It's like, hold up. It's
Yeah.
like you're not getting quality sleep. Bro is sleeping in a boat right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he assumed that doing it that early means that he'll get the honest truth out of Rizzo. Which I mean, he does technically, but then he tries to then also throw in the idea that Jonathan that he might that he might know, and so now he told Jonathan, and it's just like like he kind of kept going and trying to find information that Rizzo might give to probably leak so that way Charlie could use it against him. Um, but yeah, it is it was not a good look for Charlie.
Yeah.
This definitely had downfall episode just all over it for him. Like it just there were not very many. Like I don't think there's any good Charlie moments in terms of like what he was doing. So
Just the toe ring.
yeah,
And like
and that
even
was
though he
episode
lost
one.
to yeah, and even though he lost the talent show to Rizzo,
Mhm.
I feel like as a whole it was like still like positive in the sense of like you see him and Jonathan going at it and like fighting. Like
Mhm.
that was like positive content because it was like funny, silly, and he leaned into it. But
Mhm.
yeah, it is a shame because like I do like Charlie. I guess like it just wasn't his season, and then he was very hung up on past game, which I understand,
Mhm.
but it did ended up costing him.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's Charlie going out here. We haven't really talked much about the other tribe,
Yeah,
and what went over there. So obviously, like a huge part of the episode was also about the Christian Aussie conflict and the falling out that they had, where Aussie obviously got left out of the boat last time, and now Christian trying to kind of make up, but also Aussie is not the kind of person that enjoy like if you lie to Ozzy, he takes that very personally. He does not enjoy that. He is going to be very revengeful. And so he was already, throughout this episode, kind of thinking about making that move against Christian, which I mean, the pieces were there for it to happen. It definitely could have happened here for Christian. And this was the mistake of doing that crazy move last week. Um, was that you are opening yourself up for a very easy turnaround because you are now considered the mastermind, the manipulator, the person that maybe can't be trusted by every single person on that tribe now. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, what do you think about the whole Aussie Christian scuffle?
I mean, obviously he's going to be upset. And then Christian even makes a thing. It was like, well, this did happen to him not too long ago. We get a little bit of a flashback with Cochran. It was like a nerdy guy, like
Mm-hmm.
just betrays him and stuff. And so like there is that. There's also the thing of like, um, he did have to like it was still fresh, and then it did seem like they came together a little bit after Ozzy meditated and I believe it was a poncho, but he didn't have it fully over himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um and stuff, and they talked it out. However, I think Ozzy did make a good point to Stephanie during it, where he's like, listen, he is really good at this game and stuff like that. He's able to like look how he was able to turn that whole vote around and stuff. Like, and I feel like it's something where Christian definitely had to do some damage control. And
Mm-hmm.
like Ozzy even was like, yeah, you have to give me your shot in the dark, which I was like, usually that's a very bad sign. Um, but Christian realized, this is probably what is best for my game to do that, to make sure there is trust there.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And it seemed like at first that Christian might not even have given the shot in the dark to Ozzy. Like there was a little
Yeah.
bit like where Christian just like, you're trying to take it from me, so that way that I have no power and you can just vote me out. Um, but I feel like when someone does ask you that and you're expecting them to work with you for this next vote, like I think you kind of have to, otherwise I mean, yeah, it's literally Ozzy, Angelina, and Stephanie votes Christian, and that's GG.
Yeah.
So you kind of have no other choice but to do what you can to make sure that Ozzy is in, because at least if Ozzy's in, you got Ozzy, Emily, and Christian voting together. That's enough. So Ozzy is super important, super crucial to making sure that everything's good there. Because, like I said, Stephanie here, she's gonna go wherever the numbers are. She has
Yeah.
no real in like care of who's going here. She just is a bit in survival mode after Q wins. Um,
Well, yeah. And she doesn't, and like she just knows like she needs to find her footing, especially with how fast like things are shrinking. And
yeah,
like I said earlier, they don't expect a merge to happen next episode. There could be
yeah,
like a tribe swap,
yeah.
but like more, like they're gonna think that the game is still gonna continue in the pre-merge portion.
Yeah. I would definitely assume that we would have had maybe a one round tribe swap here, but I mean, yeah, based off of what it seems like it might be with a triple tribal, it's kind of like happening, but also everyone's on the merge beach together and getting the merge up. I don't know. It's confusing. Survivor loves in the new era to make the merge as confusingly hard to like predict as possible, as like what it actually is.
Well, I mean, like that's what makes it fun, though. It's like, and we've done like over, I think we're approaching 200, right? Or I don't know.
For what?
Brand steals on our channel.
I'd have to count all that stuff up. It's up there.
It is up there, but we've definitely done over 100.
Mhm.
Um, and so we have seen it, and we've commented on it almost every single tribal council. The first merge tribal council is always like we don't know where the chips are going to lie, even when you go into it, because
Mhm.
it could be a thing where, oh, right now there's this power alliance on the Callow tribe, but like none of them have been to tribal council. Who knows? Or one observation I made here, it's like, all right, if Rizzo gets Suri and like Suri mentioned, that Ozzy gave her the extra vote. And like, that means that Suri is really locked in with Rizzo and at least working with that core four over on the new Sela tribe. It was like, okay, well, maybe Ozzy will probably go back to this tribe, right? Thing is, we don't know
Mhm.
if that's fully going to be the case, or like maybe Ozzy doesn't want to work with Rizzo because he was like, he's like, who the hell calls himself Riz God or whatever, or like you don't know when you go into the merge what information is going to be shared, who is like people ask where you heard that information from, so it is a bit of a mad scramble, and like
Mhm.
yeah, and then it kind of like, so I understand that's what's fun about the merge, especially the first episode.
Mhm.
You don't know fully what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm even just talking just like from a logistics, like the earn the merge kind of like I think muddied the merge elements, and then like I think in most new era seasons when you hit the merge, there's now double boots or like they're splitting people up and they're kind of doing all that stuff. That doesn't feel like a true merge, and everyone's having to come together sometimes and figure it out. It's kind of gets all mixed and muddied quite a bit. I enjoy when it's just like, here's all the people, let's do it. Like, imagine 17 people all going to tribal council and voting one person.
I complete. I can imagine that. Imagine 20
Yeah,
with your very first tribal council ever, Joe.
yeah, yeah.
And because of that, it helped you beat a US record for most votes received.
Exactly. And how cool would that be if you could have go to tribal council, get like 8 votes against you on the first tribal council, and then bam.
Technically,
You're up there.
yeah, it's crazy to think about. But I also understand from a game maker's point of view, it's like shit needs to get done.
Yeah.
So like like so I get it. And I guess it's like once we see the whole picture of how this is structured, it may make
Mm.
more sense. Though it would have been iconic to have one tribal council with 17 votes in play. Well, it still would have been 16 because Colby
Colby.
still has his lost vote from episode one.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, I imagine it's going to be chaos, obviously. Um, so who knows? And I know we're not at 39 days, so they can't take their time and be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna, like just lose a person per episode. We're gonna have like
Yeah.
2 more episodes and stuff like that. They're like, nah, fam, we have to get rid of people. We got to make it make sense, and we have to do it fast.
Yeah. We need triple elimination here. Then we need Mr. Beast to come in and have someone self eliminate. Then
I did watch Rob has a podcast. He did a video of
yeah.
like
I
you
saw
saw it
I saw that too. Yeah, yeah. So
because
it's pretty likely, like the what he laid out of the coin and flipping it. So we'll see.
does
We'll
make
see.
sense.
But I mean, that still could be, flip it, increase the prize money. But if you lose, you get self eliminated.
I really want Emily Flippin to get the coin because it would be so ironic
Oh yeah,
for someone with their last name be Flippin to flip a coin. That could be my dumbass dad joke brain at work.
uh, I
But
hope
I feel
so.
like
But I don't think she's the kind of player who would step up for something like that.
no. If we were to think Riz God totally would.
Yeah,
Um,
Rick Devens, I think would.
Rick Devens is another good one.
I think Coach
Uh,
would. I think Coach would love to be like, yeah, I'm doing this for you guys.
it depends on what day it is. Is it Tidewalker Day
Yeah,
or is it Dragon Slayer Day?
yeah. um,
Uh,
I feel like those are the only people on like this cast that I can actually see like thinking about doing that. I think we got
I
I think there's a
agree.
lot of people who would be very risk adverse in terms of something like that.
Agreed. I don't know. It is funny after this episode. Well, I mean, like we will talk about it a little bit later, but like it is something where we're about 6 episodes in. We're going to be 6 episodes in. So it's like winter edit and do we see one? That's going to be definitely something that as we're watching now and as we're going to the merge, we're going to be thinking about a lot. And
Mhm.
it's like who's been getting the content, what kind of content they've been getting, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I'm on the Aubrey train now, okay, because they're still showing her, okay, she is important to this season. She has to be. They could have skunked her. They could have skunked her this episode. They could have skunked her in episode 3. But guess what? They said we need to make sure that we're checking in on Aubrey. Okay, that's got to mean something, right, Ryan? Right?
There is that possibility.
Yeah,
I just don't know about her edit so far. That's the one thing that is like
yeah.
what we're talking about. What kind of what are we seeing from her? That's the main thing.
We're seeing that
So
she's
I
got
think
an
she's going to
idol and
be.
she's gonna beat Genevieve.
I think she's going to be important to the season.
uh
I don't know if she wins yet.
hmm
Do you want to hear my crazy prediction on who I think might actually win this
Yeah, because
season?
you're gonna say Riz God.
I might. Yes.
It's not gonna be Riz God, but go ahead.
Well, I brought it up, but like, I don't know. The clues are there. The clues are there. One, like he said, trying to prove that he's the greatest of all time. He did lock in with some good people. He still has the idol. He could also, one thing he mentioned was like, I think it was Genevieve who probably gave it to me. It is a thing where Genevieve, he could use that as an excuse to target Genevieve. I hate saying it, but it's
Mhm.
like it is a possibility where it's like, oh well, Genevieve will probably want me out so she can get the idol, since it's a boomerang one. Um, and then also I go back to what content we have gotten from him. Now, granted, there's a lot of being like, oh, Rizzo's a threat, Rizzo's a threat, but also last season, it's that confessional on day or what the girls were talking about on day 39 on the beach, where it was like he could one day win this game. And then it's the cameo that you got me for my birthday, where it's like you might want to. You know how hilarious it would be if he ended up winning, and I chose him partially due to what he mentioned in that cameo.
Yeah, it'd be funny, but there's no way that people are gonna vote for Riz God on the season when they don't really know him before it. He's the youngest person. He's not gonna get the respect of the jury. I think he could go deep. I'm not saying that I think he's like screwed and going out soon. I think he has a good chance, honestly, of going deep, especially after how he was edited in this episode, and he's got an idol. Um, I just don't think that there's a world where he sits next to any combination of two people and wins.
Oh, we got a whole lot of game left.
Yeah, I know, but it didn't matter when he stepped foot on the beach. He was not winning this game. He was not. That it's just not going to happen when someone literally has never been seen by the other people who are playing the game. Like you can go deep, but you can't win.
We'll find out.
We will. I mean,
I
we
think
already
Joe was
know.
scared.
We already
I think
know.
Joe was scared.
I'm not scared. I just know for a fact that Rizzo can't win this game.
If he does, you have to play. You have to edit this moment back in. You will eat so much crow.
It's just the truth. I'm sorry, Rizzo, but like if only you played season 48, but also I think that would probably hurt you because then people would know your game and you're currently being able to use that people don't know your game to your advantage. It's a double-edged sword in that regard, but yeah, you just can't win if you are going on to an all-star season with people not knowing who you are. People
We'll
want to vote.
see.
People want to vote for your friends, like and people that you know. Um, so it's pretty hard to be that unknown variable to actually get votes, especially when you are the youngest person on the cast. Like there's two very huge uphill battles for Rizzo that's really hard to like conquer, and he's got to do both of them at the same time.
Well, thing is, if I'm like Rizzo, that also means Rizzo is like me, and he can overcome it.
You didn't have to overcome people not knowing who you are and being the youngest person on the season.
I'm trying to think. Fans versus favorites. Tyler might have been younger than me. I know Dylan was. Okay, there's that. But
Yeah, but you didn't win that season.
I didn't.
That's what I'm
I,
saying.
I,
I'm
I
talking
won a
purely from
season where
winning.
no one knows. Technically, I won a season where no one knew who I was.
Yeah, yeah, in a format where and no one knows who anyone is.
Exactly.
So I guess we just need to change this entire season to where everyone is playing anonymously and they are all messaging each other without knowing
Oh no,
who
no,
anyone
they don't
is.
even message each other.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was just talking if we're still doing the Survivor formats
Yeah.
of that.
But anyway, I'm just joking around. But like, you never know. I know cards are stacked against him. However, it only takes one person to make that, like to make that all go away.
Okay. Well, we will see. We will see. Okay. Anything else that we want to talk about on this episode before we get to confessional counts?
I mean, I feel like when it came to the Pink Tribe, it was very straightforward. Like there
Yeah.
was like some mystery, but it was very much leaning towards Angelina going home because I don't feel like they would have. It just didn't seem likely that Christian was going to go here,
Yeah. We also know that he can because Jimmy Fallon hasn't decided his fate in this game yet.
which is another point to bring up as well. It's like usually when because like it's one thing if there's like a cheat in the edit.
Mhm.
It's a whole other thing where it's like Jimmy Fallon has not been mentioned once throughout this entire game yet. So
Yeah.
he's guaranteed to make it until we hear Jimmy Fallon mentioned.
I think it's going to have something to do with the merge or like maybe the merge idols or something. Jimmy
Jimmy Fallon
Fallon.
idol.
Yeah. The Jimmy Jam idol. I don't know. But obviously kind of meant that we knew that it can't be Christian. They didn't really set up anyone else but Angelina. So it kind of had to be
Yeah.
Angelina. Um
And we didn't get enough because Stephanie's name was thrown around, but it was never like people were considering it at all.
no,
So it's
it's
like very advertised.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, that's pretty much all there is there. Anything else or are we good?
No, I think we pretty much touched on everything.
Okay, well then take it away with the catchphrase.
All right, it is time for confessional counts because we value screen time on this channel.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so still the leader of confessionals, we got Christian at 35.
He meets it beats it. Finally surpassed Banu Bar has been officially met
But it
with
took
this
him
episode.
an extra episodes. Banu did it in 4 episodes.
That is true. But Banu didn't have to compete with like 23 other contestants.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Next up, Ozzy is just one confessional behind Christian at 34. He had 9 confessionals in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because he seemed pretty important. He's also someone where he has been getting consistency a lot.
Mhm.
Uh Winner contention, tough to say at this point.
Yeah, Ozzy is another one of those people who I think he needs a very specific set of people on the jury to get him a win. And if he doesn't have, so like, and they kind of exist. I mean, if you get, your Colbys and Joes and maybe even Coach, if they can kind of, if he is all about the honor and Ozzy ends up being that honor person that gets the end, could potentially go there. But if it's a very new era heavy jury and like that's kind of where everyone is wanting to go for is a new era person, yeah, honestly, I don't think can get that jury to decide with him.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
But well, all right. Who's up next?
Next up, we got Genevieve and Rick Devens tied at 17 confessionals.
I will say also, both of
Oh,
them have a goose egg episode, and it
yeah.
is crazy the difference. Literally, you said 17.
Yeah. I will say I miss Emily flipping at 19 confessionals.
regardless, that is a
Yeah,
huge gap between those two and this one. Now, granted,
yeah,
that gap was wide in this episode because Ozzy got 9 confessionals, but like, oh my.
yeah, exactly. So, uh, yeah, I mean, Christian and Ozzy have been kind of main characters. They've also had to go to every tribal council. I mean, the top three people literally have gone to every tribal council. So it makes sense
Yeah.
why they're the top confessional getters right now.
And now they will, for the rest of the, as long as they're in the game, they will have gone to tribal council each round.
Yep, exactly. Not every tribal council because of this double round, and
Yeah, I
without a
had
doubt.
to.
Yeah,
That's
without
why I
a doubt.
said round because I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah,
Okay, so after Genevieve and Rick, we got Rizzo, the Riz God, at 16 confessionals.
nice.
We got Coach coming in next at 15 confessionals.
Yeah, I was like, a lot of his confessionals came from episode one, though. So it's been
Mhm.
like at least one per episode. This was
Yeah,
like Rizzo's biggest episode. So he got like, he skyrocketed
yeah.
with this
He
one.
he had 8 confessionals, so it was half of his content what came in this episode. Um, and then next up we got Suri at 13 confessionals.
It seems criminally low.
She should be way higher, and she should not have been skunked in episode 4. Um,
Agreed.
uh, next up, we got a tie here between Aubrey and Joe at 12 confessionals.
All right.
Next up, we got Stephanie at 11 confessionals.
Still feel criminally low.
It's about right. Um,
Especially because she's been to tribal like she's been to the past 3 tribals as well.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, we got to focus on Christian and Ozzy and Emily.
Hmm. That's fair.
Yeah. Okay, next up we got Camilla at 9 confessionals.
This is a decent episode for her. That because wasn't it like at like 5
Yeah, yeah, it
last
was
episode?
it was at 5 before, so
Yeah.
she went up a little bit. She was actually shown on the show this episode. So it's
Yeah.
always good. Um and then next up we got Jonathan at 8 confessionals.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh Also seeming a little like these are like I guess like just because of how it's scaled, it does seem very low.
Yeah,
I know we're only 5 episodes in, but like, yeah.
yeah. Uh D is at 6 confessionals.
I
She
will say
yeah.
she got 2 this time.
She broke the one confessional streak.
Yes.
um so good on her there. Next up we got Chrissy at 5 confessionals who got goose egged.
She's been goose egg twice, right?
Yep, that was her second time. But
Yeah.
guess what? Someone's been goose egged 3 times. And that person is Tiffany at 2 confessionals still at 5 episodes in.
I still can't believe this. It's just like
Yeah,
it's borderline disrespectful.
yeah, I saw someone in the comments of this where I get the confessionals, and they're just like, "What did Tiffany do to the editors?"
It is a shame. It is a shame because if you remember her from her season, she did bring like entertainment.
Yeah,
Was she a little overshadowed by a lot of the craziness of 46? Maybe. But if you look at like Tiffany specifically, she does give good content and she is a good player.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's very unfortunate for her because I think her legacy as Survivor is going to be looked at on this season as like her, which is unfortunate because she's not being shown. Because everyone was like, she was the question mark pick of, well, why Tiffany? Like, obviously, you must have saw something in her going into this that you saw her true potential, and then we're getting this, and it's like dang, this could have been maybe another person. You know, I know it's not like a one for one because she's a winner, but like a Marianne would have been great to also have on the season. And I was, you know, that would have been a big
Yeah.
character who would have brought something, even if she was someone who was in like the 6 to 8 confessional mark right now. Like she would at least be giving us something.
Yeah. It's something where it was questionable. Like, but I like I saw it. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
the math was mathing, so it was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Would she have been a go-to for me? Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel it's just like hopefully now that she is going to like tribal council and will be doing that, maybe we do see a bit more content. She's a guaranteed at least
Yeah.
one more confessional.
Yeah. Imagine she gets one confessional and then gets voted out.
Gosh,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. Well, okay. Also, real quick, Angelina ends the game with 9 confessionals and Charlie with 10 confessionals.
That makes sense.
Also, did you think it was ever ironic that it was the 6-7 boots, you know, in this one?
I'm pretty sure I made that joke to myself last night.
Yeah.
But
I
I
also love
totally
that.
forgot about it
I
when we were talking.
I did too until literally just this moment. uh okay, well, MVPs and LVPs. And
MVP, I gotta give
Riz God. Yeah.
Riz God. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like just straight up one. Now he's aligned with. I feel like he has, despite all the craziness of what next episode will bring. I feel like he has a lot of things going for him. He has the idol. He has
Mhm.
Suri. He has who also has an advantage. He also has like by kind of like relationships and stuff. If Suri feels really good about Rizzo, Ozzy will feel good about Rizzo.
Mhm.
And then like, I feel like he also got out his target as well. I feel like this was just very positive for him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this was definitely Rizzo's episode. Um, so good on him. Good on him. He got out his mortal enemy, or Charlie's declared him his mortal enemy. But
Operation Bad Blood.
yeah, exactly. Also his his voting confessional where he just did a bunch of Taylor Swift references. That was great.
It kind of reminds me of the Sabrina Carpenter one that I sent you way
Yeah,
back when.
yeah. Okay.
Anywho,
Yeah, LVP. I'm going to give it to the counter of Charlie because I think this was like a tank of an episode for him. Where like I know he's out of the game, but boy howdy, he did not do anything remotely right.
yeah, because I feel like one tribe didn't go, so I can't really give him LVP.
Yeah.
Uh, the Angelina one seemed pretty straightforward, and I think everyone who else on that tribe who played really much did, like played to their best out of that situation.
Yeah.
And then when it came to this tribe with the Charlie vote, even though Devins and Jonathan were on the outs, I don't think it was necessarily bad gameplay at all. It was just more so Camilla decided to go one way. So yeah, I think really by default, I think Charlie, specifically waking someone up when
Yeah.
people are already having sleep issues
Yeah. Yeah. And
and be like, yeah,
he was just so tunnel focused on taking out Rizzo here that also it just clouded him maybe being able to play the game and work with other people.
Rizzo
So
wanted to work with you too, and that's the sad
yeah,
part.
yeah, I actually think that they're very similar archetypes of players. But sometimes that doesn't work with you. Sometimes you want to be your archetype and you want to work with people who are the opposites of what you bring to the table.
Well, I mean, two things. One, they even mentioned that in this episode where there is
Yeah,
some similarities. And
yeah,
then two, I feel like when it comes to archetypes, I agree with that a little bit because like it's kind of like a D&D party or your Pokemon party. You're going to
Mhm.
need different things to round out your team, your alliance. You need the bard, you need the cleric, you need the barbarian to like do massive damage.
Yeah.
Um, you need the rogue to get extra hits. And like in Pokemon, you need something to cover, the fire types. You need something to cover the dragons. You need a
You need the
Pokemon that
Dragon
can
Slayers.
the dragons, like the fairy type Pokemon, basically.
Yeah.
Uh, so like you need a well balanced team. Otherwise, it's just going to be harder on yourself. Not impossible, but it would be harder.
Yeah. I know some people might not be happy about it, but I think Rizzo shouldn't have replaced Andy on the season, but he probably should have replaced Charlie. And Charlie would hate to hear that because it would be even worse for him. But I think Andy, because at least then you would have a different archetype of a player there with Andy, whereas you kind of got two of the same archetypes here with Rizzo and Charlie.
Um,
And I
I
think
wouldn't have
I
said
think Rizzo is the more entertaining of the two.
yeah. I wouldn't have said no to that, but I was like, I guess like on paper, Charlie makes sense and is a must win because he has this whole like story and stuff. It did end up costing him, but I at least know that I don't know because I feel like this does tarnish Charlie's reputation. So like
Mhm.
I'm a little bit on board with Andy if would have come in instead, but
Yeah, I mean, I was
it's
say
hard
I
to
was
say.
saying this before Charlie even got out. I was already on the like Charlie probably should have. If you're gonna replace Rizgon with someone, like Charlie is like they are the same kind of player in certain aspects. So, um, I think that would have made more sense in a casting like meeting, but it is what it is. Hopefully Charlie enjoyed that he went on the season instead of some new era All Stars. Or imagine a captain season with Charlie and Maria.
That would be so uncomfortable.
But it would be so fun. uh,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's gonna do it here for this episode. I enjoyed it. It was better than last week's episode.
It wasn't a high bar though.
Yeah,
I thought this one was good as
yeah,
well.
it was good. I enjoyed it. I thought there were some good moments. I'm hoping now that we get the merge that everything picks back up again, because I felt like the first like two episodes were like really iconic and good, and then third episode was decent. Fourth episode was the fourth episode, and then this one went back to like decent. So I'm hoping that like it's doing this and it's on its little way back up.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.